So I'm finally getting a chance to come in here and start to work on this floor cloth that I left back last year around this time. We've put down the base layer. The base layer of the cloth has been put down, and then on this thinner paper or this thinner cloth, and then covered it with a layer of satin finish paint. I'm coming across an issue though where it's still really sticky, if you can see that. And so we're going to try to go ahead and paint over the top of this and just see if it works. I'm hoping that it will, because there are two other cloths that I did the same process with that are doing just fine now. And I was kind of hesitant to use, so the base that we have is not going to be the same as the paint that I use to do the designs and stuff on, but I haven't had a problem with crazing yet, and I don't want to waste this cloth, so I'm going to go ahead and give it a try and see if that works with my acrylic paint to do the designs on top of this paint here. I think the problem is that we accidentally got an oil-based paint perhaps, and so that might cause some crazing, but I think that'll be okay because some of the designs that I've seen have a little bit of crazing in it. I don't know if it's on purpose or not, but you know, some things, that was kind of a little bit of a popular thing from what I can see, like in doorknobs and things I'm talking about. So we're going to go ahead and draw or sketch out the pattern on here, and I will be able to roll this up, take it down into my office, and begin painting on it. I'm also hoping that it's probably the room. Since this room is upstairs, it's to the south, it stays pretty hot in here, and we've had a lot of moisture in the air, and so that could probably cause some of the sticky, but I mean, you can hear it. That's not a great thing for it to be doing. So we're going to go ahead and draw the design on here. It's easier if I do it whenever it's laid out like this, because then I don't have to worry about mismeasuring things or designs being wonky from one end to the other. And then I'll roll it up. I'll take it downstairs into my office, which is air conditioned, and then I'll be able to paint the designs on in sections across my desk there. So that's what we're about to get started on. Okay, so I have drawn my grid on the floor cloth, and because it is a satin paint, I was able to use a wet erase marker, so this should not come up, and it was easier to kind of erase my mistakes that I made, and you can kind of see how I was erasing. So basically what's going to happen is this right here is going to sit for a few minutes. I'm going to allow the marker to set so that it can't be erased unless I use moisture to get it off of there. And then I'm going to roll it up, and I'll take it down to my office, which is air conditioned, because it is so hot up here that you sweat just standing. But in my grids here, I will be able to know what to draw, where my lines go for my trees and such. So each of these grids are going to help me to determine where my branches go, and then the inside of the bigger squares, that's going to be where I put my my thistle symbols. They're going to go there, and then of course right here in this center is where the fox is going to go. I'll be able to make everything even so that it's not going to be off balance. Of course, whenever you look at the sides of this here, some of them they get thinner and they get thicker at various stages because it isn't an even section of cloth, and so it just came out of the machine like that, and so I will have to fold it over, but you can see the edges of it, how it's wrinkled like so, and I would need to fold the edges over anyway and sew those down to make sure that that they don't curl up and people accidentally trip over them as they're walking through. And so the next process is going to be to let this sit for a second, roll it up, take it down to the office, and then I will start painting my designs onto the edges of it, and we'll just paint them section by section. Okay, so I have my table set up. As you can tell, it may or may not have been used to paint floor cloths on before. I have my base paint ready to go that I had to mix up because I misplaced the paint from the last time. And then I found the paint from the last time, so I'm able to use some of this to, I'll bring out some colors and add some depth. But first, I have this paint here, and that is going to be my base paint for the trees. And so basically what I'm going to do now is I am just going to roll this out, get it ready to start painting the little front sections of the trees, and see where that takes me. So basically here's how I do it. I've got my pattern here, and this is what I'm going to use to get my painting going. So this section here, you see that this section here is this section here, and then I've got two more squares in the middle, which are these two here. So 1 and 2, and this over here is this one. So I know where it's going to end. I've drawn out 2 different ways to see, and we've agreed that this part where it's cut off looks a lot better than this part, but the section I'm working on first is going to be this bit here. So I'm going to sketch out this espaliered tree that's going to go on the end. It's going to be slightly larger than these guys here, and I'm going to sketch that out up here in this base paint. And then once I get the trees done and all the base, then I'll let them dry out, and then I'll come back and I'll start picking out the detail out of them and then add leaves and apples to them. So this is what I'm going to be starting on now. And here is the espaliered tree that's going to be at the top or either edge of the floor cloth. And so this tree is, so espaliered trees are trees where they manipulate the branches of them and they trim them so they grow along something. And so we can see trees like this in history being used to kind of as decoration, but also they're really easy to harvest some of your fruit and things off of. And so this guy right here is going to be the base of an apple tree that's been espaliered. So I've got to go back and I've got to touch up some stuff. I've got to get some, bring out some of the texture with different shades of brown. And then I need to start putting in my, my apples and my leaves and things on this. And then I was also able to get the smaller ones that are going on the side as well. And so we're going to have we're going to have them on each side, like so. You can see that for the glare. And so it's going to go all the way down. And then, of course, at the bottom of the floor cloth, there's going to be another one on the end. And then the espaliered trees going down the side. And then our thistle in the center. And then a little sleeping fox laying curled up in the center of that. And so that's what we're doing.